Hello and welcome back in, guys. Hope you are all doing okay. Hope you've had a great week. It has been a crazy last few days, as you can imagine, in EVE Online nullsec with, if you haven't heard, I did a video about basically Gobbins, who's the leader of Pandemic Horde, decided he was going to pull his alliance out the coalition all very last minute. And this weekend we have witnessed the backlash of such decision. There's a lot to dive into, and so we are going to be looking at the information that we have. Some of the stuff have been sent, some of the first line member accounts that have been sent. There's going to be quite a lot to deal with. We are first going to look at Zkill on the whole, what's actually sort of been destroyed so far this weekend. There's a lot on here on Zkill, but we're also going to look at some other things this weekend. But this is my first weekly news video as an EVE partner, so I have just got EVE partner. I did mention it in a previous video, but for those of you that didn't watch that one, I'm now an EVE partner, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway of a skin, and it is the Metamorphosis skin. So I'm going to be giving one of those away. I'm going to be giving two of those away. So if you comment, I don't know. You know what? If you just comment on the video, I'll pick two comments at random, and I'll get your in-game name, and I'll give you a skin for your ship in-game. Right, so let's dive into Zkill and have a look and see what we've been looking at over this entire weekend, which is a pretty crazy weekend. So this is a system called RTAC A. Now, the long and short of the story, the whole drama story that's gone on, got on Friday or Thursday. I can't remember which day it was now. I think it was the 6th. So that would be, so for Thursday, yeah. Thursday, Gobbins announced that his alliance was leaving PanFam, which is a coalition in Dronelands. Very last minute, for kind of the way he did it, threw his allies under the bus, and then left all the line members to fend for themselves in a system where their capital staging was, where all their, well, not all, but a lot of their assets were, as they previously moved there. And the Imperium decided, as soon as they've seen that announcement, within 90 minutes, they're going to go and hellcamp the Keepstar, which we will come back to that in a minute. So during the last few days, there has been a lot of stuff has been dying. And let's have a look at some of these. So you can see straight across the top initially, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Titans have been destroyed. That is through the Imperium bumping them off tether. And because they've been because we've bubbled the entire Keepstar area you can tether, you couldn't just jump out from anywhere on tether. So as people got closer to the edge of tether to try and find a spot to jump out, we started bumping them off, and that's what happened. So there was also, as far as I'm aware, there was did I get on it on my main? Hang on, let's have a look. Was it on my main that I did? Yeah, so there was also a Revelation Navy issue. There was also Aeon and a Nyx. Now, these were full of people's assets. So they had like Black Ops ships. That one had 4 or 5 Black Ops ships in. These super carriers and carriers and dreadnoughts and everything that was destroyed were loaded to the brim of pretty much these people's entire, well, not entire, but most of their ships that they wanted to evac out of Dronelands to their new home, which is now in Cloud Ring. And essentially, we killed the Keepstar last night, and there was 3,753 people on there. So we brought our supers and our Titans in to destroy them, and everything that was left in that station when it went bang went to asset safety, which is in it's in Oban something. Hang on, let me see if I can come off here. So this is what the Keepstar grid looks like now, and this is what the Keepstar grid looks like. That's all the bubbles that we've anchored. So when people log back in their capitals, they are stuck. They can't do anything. Keepstar there that we bought, I believe. Yeah, we bought. And there's also this Astra House here. Now, but let's have a quick look. So the asset safety system that all their supers and all their Titans and everything are going to is here. I bought something on contracts just so I know exactly where it's going. Now that is where everything in that Keepstar is going. Supers, Titans, Dreads, Carriers, Freighters, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, or probably trillions worth of assets are on the way to that system now. And they will be there in 18 days now. They will be there. So that is where all those items are going. And that that system's going to be camped, I imagine. I can't imagine it not being camped. That's the problem. That's the problem that they're going to be facing now. Let me bring that back up there. So that is RTAK. There's a lot of... We are going to do a segment dedicated to this whole situation because there is a lot to cover. So I do want to have a look at other stuff on Zkill, which... Zkill. I keep getting it mixed up. Apologies. Someone from Horde did try and running with all their Blueprint originals. Now, this looks like someone who was heavily into industry lost all their blueprints. And you can imagine they are probably all fully researched as well. So 200, a quarter of a trillion to a smart bomb because he was warping gate to gate. Now, as I've mentioned many times when, carrying really expensive stuff, if you're going through low sec or if you're going through null sec and there's one person in system, just don't go gate to gate. Go to a planet, a moon, a belt, something. Just don't go gate to gate because unfortunately this guy paid the price. And also this guy got 73 billion worth of BPOs just from from smart bombing on that gate. So that's not how you run away. Unfortunately. So there's been 3 Keepstars have died. This one was where they were originally going to go. So in the ping, which was in the last video, the Goblins said that they're going to go to Venal to set up there, get sort of like regroup, recuperate a little bit, get everything together, then go from there. Fraternity didn't like that. And they saw it anchoring and obviously thought, you know what, we don't want Horde anchoring a Keepstar right in our space, in the middle of our space. Because if we look on the map again, Venal is slap bang in the middle of Winterco space. So you got Winterco up here, all along here to there. So they would have been slap bang in the middle. And there's five ways in and out of that region to different parts of Winterco space. So they obviously didn't want them there. And yeah, in it formed a couple fleets to go and attack them, to go and defend that Keepstar to help Horde, because in it Horde and Darkshines Initiative made an agreement that they'll help them get out and so they can get on the feet and then reset and start being their own independent group again. But that didn't go well. I think Fraternity, as far as I'm aware, they outformed Init by quite a substantial amount. Plus, they had all their caps there. So we bring that kill mail back up again. They had a lot of caps, a lot of capitals there, and Init just could not compete with it. So at that point, Horde's only line of exit at the time was then destroyed. Was absolutely burnt then, because that's where they were going to, because Horde have been moving everything they have over to here, MT02. They moved everything from here to a midpoint to MT02 to go across the regional into Venal, and then they were going to jump out to their new Keepstar from there. That was the original plan. It's not gone that well. It's really not gone that well. And there were so many other ways they could have, done this and got out. And I won't go into all those because there's just so many different ways this could have been done and it could have been executed better, but it wasn't. And, it is what it is. So Horde have most of their stuff in MT02 now. And I don't know what's going to happen with moving across here. That's taking all their capitals across the regional with Fraternity waiting that side and Imperium going to be waiting this side. It's going to be a bit of a bloodbath, that is. That I can't imagine that being a legitimate option now, unless we turn around and leave them alone and let them go. I don't know. I can't. If Imperium wanted to pursue them, they would. And, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a line member. I have no idea what's going to be said or done. But if they really wanted to twist the knife, they would hold the rest of their super fleet that's in MTO now and really, really twist the knife. But I don't know if that's going to happen. And a hellcamp, we hellcamped that whole system for 5 days. That's 24 hours of that Keepstar being constantly bubbled. 24 hours, 23 and a half if you're factoring in downtime. That whole system, as you can see just on the on here, that whole Keepstar was bubbled like that for 23.7 hours a day for 5 days. There was 900 goons on the Keepstar at all times, keeping all the capitals from escaping. So this was basically like we kept Imperium kept following them through space, and then we moved next to them. They moved back. We moved forward. They moved back, and Imperium leadership decided, you kept running from fights, so we are going to make this painful. Which, that's absolutely legit strategy to do, and they have made it painful. They are going to continue to make this a painful transition for them. And unfortunately, it's the line members that suffer in this whole situation. It's not leadership who were seen getting their stuff out before the announcement. It's none of that. It is the line members who ultimately suffer. So the people that put Titans in production, supercaps, capitals, loads of assets into building items and modules and ships and stuff like that, and all these reaction jobs that are now being terminated and not being collected, and all those minerals that were in those industrial hubs are now going to asset safety because they can't get them out. And there's a lot the line members have lost. Unfortunately, there is no true way to know exactly how much is coming out of this area into asset safety, because I've asked CCP, and the monthly economic report, which shows exports out of a region to another region, or just shows how much is leaving a region, does not track asset safety stuff, because it tracks it through it being in like session changes from being in ships from one system to another or one region to another. So to track it from asset safety, it just doesn't do it. Plus, they did say that, they probably wouldn't release those numbers anyway, even if they did, for obvious reasons. So, as a wild guess from one person I spoke to, who's a line member who has requested to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, but he's lost it. Let me have a look. In excess of 160 billion just in materials for industry jobs. That's one member of the 49,000 that they had. So you can imagine how many trillions is going through asset safety right now, because there was no warning. There was no, all right, but by the way, guys, you've got a week to condense everything into this one Keepstar. People had stuff all over the place, and all those stations and those systems are now going to get reinforced, destroyed. Everything that belongs to Horde is getting absolutely glassed. The current residents like Northern Coalition and Slice, they are joining Winter Coalition. Probes are also, Hold My Probes are also joining Winter Coalition. So Winter Coalition are benefiting quite a lot from this. We are going to look at Dotlan we'll look at Dotlan now. So we'll have a look at Dotland now, because there's not too much. It's kind of obvious Ezekiel. There's not too many huge kills. It's all dominated by all this Horde stuff that's dying. But if we go to Alliance movements, and so Horde have lost, in the last 7 days, have lost just over 10,000 people. And you can see nearly 1,000 have gone to Northern Coalition, nearly 1,000 have gone to the Initiative. PIBC who are Horde renters, they've lost just over 850 people. PL have gained 815 people. Goon Swarm have gained just over 740 people. So a lot of these members are spreading out. Obviously, there will be people that are staying with Horde, and they are going to stay with Horde. Absolutely fine. Leadership is changing because Gobbins is stepping down. He is no longer going to be the leader of Pandemic Horde. And there's new leadership in place. No one's heard from him yet, but he has pinged out about, what's going on. And unfortunately, I do feel bad for the line members, and it really sucks to have to pay so much, like 15% of your total asset worth to get that back out of asset safety. And that's in 20 days. So everything you had is now locked away in transit to LowSec for 20 days, which that LowSec is going to be insanely camped. I can't express how heavily camped that station's going to be. I can't. There's only 9 systems within range of that asset safety system that capitals can reach. So even if someone does get a capital out, as soon as they jump it to one of those 9 systems, people like Big Ab, Snuff, Mimitar Fleet Alliance, all those guys are going to be camping these systems, watching for capitals and control towers going up. It's going to be an absolute mess for at least 4 or 5 months to get any meaningful number of capitals out of that station. I would not like to be in this position. The amount of money it's going to cost to get Titans and super carriers and insane amount of assets out of asset safety is just going to be insane. But people are now leaving Horde, which is to be understood. That's absolutely going to happen. People are spreading out. So Horde is going to live in Cloud Ring, just over behind my nearly behind my head here. Horde is going to live in Cloud Ring, where Triumvirate are at the minute. Initiative are down here. So you're going to have access to Fountain, Outer Ring, Syndicate, Placid, Blackrise, Fade, which we know is Fraternity. And then they're going to have in Fountain here. And this is what Horde is going to live in. So they are going to be moving from quite a big, I don't want to say bloated alliance like Fraternity and Goonswarm, because they weren't ever a bloated alliance. They were a chonky alliance, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say bloated though. And they are going to have to trim down the numbers, which is going to happen naturally with the amount of people that are moving to Winter Coalition. So all these areas here, Winter Coalition live here. And so Test Alliance have picked up. As you can see, Test Alliance have picked up all of Horde's old space in Geminate. Fraternity are holding Atioth there because they've obviously got Keepstar and what have you. And Great Wildlands is a very quick access through to Scalding Pass to us. So Test are on the front line from us, which is actually quite nice. So we can come from Scalding Pass, or we can come from Cache to there and then straight into Geminate. So we're only a few jumps away from Test now, realistically, from our space. And so Horde have lost Geminate, and Test Alliance have taken over that. All this out here is now getting burnt down, like what's it called? Reinforced. So as you can see, all this space is getting reinforced. Cobalt Edge, Ethereum Reach, Peregrine Falls, Malpay, Calaver Expanse. It's all going to be flipped. I imagine it's because Asher has said that basically goons are going to turn Dronelands into a nature reserve. So if you are in a corporation or in a small alliance, you might want to head out to Dronelands once. Give it a few weeks. Just give it a few weeks first for everything to be destroyed. So when you get out there, Fraternity, Winter Coalition and the Imperium have agreed that they will be sort of like protectorates of Dronelands as a region, not in particular who lives there, just the area. There's going to be free ports dotted all over the place, so you can get from all the way back at Cobalt Edge and Outer Passage. You can use Imperium or Winter Coalition free ports to get to Jita and do your logistics runs. Also, you can use those stations as forward operating bases while you're getting set up with a Fortizar for your small alliance, taking a few systems. I imagine once the sovereignty is destroyed, there's no claim on it. I imagine they'll just be left for anyone to come in and take, and whoever they want. And it's going to be a case of, there are some rules, like if you're a big group that comes in and you just start evicting everyone, you're going to be met with resistance from Winter Coalition and the Imperium. But if the idea is to have a load of small groups set up in Dronelands in here. Let's just get on the proper map where it's a bit more visible. So basically, all this is going to be like a nature reserve, enforced by Imperium, Winter Coalition. So if people start reinforcing these Fortizars, they will be defended, or whatever the structures are, they will be defended. They will be maintained by Imperium or Winter Coalition. There are restrictions, like if a Black Ops group goes out there and starts using them to hunt and whatnot, then they will be counter-hunted, for example. But to a degree, I think the Imperium and Winter Co, what they've kind of agreed on is to have as little to do as possible with who lives there, who does what there, and let these groups come in, fight it, take space, fight each other, do a bit of diplomacy, make a coalition, and hopefully a new coalition can form in there, or two coalitions can form in there, two smaller coalitions, and everyone can get access to it that way. But the critical infrastructure that will be like logistics routes and these free ports will be defended by the Imperium or Winter Coalition, depending on who owns it, for example. So I think that's a really positive move there. Now, also an absolutely huge announcement, which came out recently. I've lost all the screenshots and I haven't trawled through Reddit, I'm afraid. I hate going through Reddit because there's so much... There's way more propaganda on Reddit than there is actual information. So basically, there was a ping from a very long-winded written message from Norris, the leader of Winter Coalition. He's basically said that they are completely putting an end to all of their rental programs. Winter Coalition are no longer going to rent out any of their space, and now that Pandemic Horde and Northern Coalition and whatnot are not renting any of this out, all of this is up for grabs. So that frees up a lot of space over here. There's hundreds and hundreds of solar systems over here to take, and for your own purposes. But renting will not happen. Thankfully, renting has come to an end in nullsec, it seems, with Fraternity stopping it, with Horde stopping it. Renting nullsec systems will no longer be a thing. So you may have to join an alliance, see how it feels within that alliance. If you like that alliance, great. If you don't, join another alliance that's nearby and work it out that way. I think that's a very positive thing. The only place where rental empires still exist now is wormholes, and that is whatever. The renting wormholes doesn't directly affect sovereignty nullsec. So they can, in my opinion, they can do what they want in wormholes. You shouldn't really rent them out, but you should let people grow into them, and there's more different groups to fight. If they're all rented out, you're going to roll into a wormhole. Oh, the renters, right, let's move on. But if they're not renters, you can get fights out of them. But they want to make money, fine, understandable, completely. But that's wormhole space. That's a completely different ball game in total when it comes to sovereignty nullsec. So as for the whole situation now with Horde and Initiative, so Horde are going to be moving to Cloud Ring. Initiative have said they will support them in their move to get them there so they can get set up and get back on the feet, dust themselves off, and see where the numbers stabilize at, see what their projection capabilities are with their Supers, Titans, Dreads, with their Black Ops fleets. I imagine they are going to be a lot more lean after all of this, after the dust is settled, and they may well be they may end up specializing into a guerrilla warfare type of group, which can be a lot of fun. So hopefully, you know, the guys, if that's what happens, the guys have a lot of fun doing it, and they can put, you know, they can just third party on fights that probably will end up happening between the Imperium and Winterco, being the only two big blocks in the game left now. Because you got Imperium down here, you got Winter Coalition all up here. I don't know how that's going, because we are only a few jumps from each other now. I don't think there's any actual bad blood between the two groups, but with Winter Coalition taking on Northern Coalition, Slice, and Hold My Probes, that means their coalition is now quite heavily buffed with a lot more capitals, a lot more members, and it means that there is now a really good group to go toe-to-toe with, a really good sized group to go toe-to-toe with, and the only downside is a lot of Winterco members will be in Chinese time zone, so our time zones won't really interact that well, but I think there'll still be a good number of fights, and I am just speculating here, so don't take anything I say about who's going to be hitting what and everything as gospel. It is all speculation. But with excuse me, so with all of this now, nullsec has not seen a change like this in a very long time. PanFam have been in drone regions for 8 years, 7 years, maybe more, and that all this space now, all of this is now up for grabs. That is, I mean, it is some very defensible space, because all these regionals, you can't you can't jump capitals across these regionals. You have to gate them in, which restricts what avenues you can come at. So, I mean, obviously you can come up through here and do that way, but that's Imperium, and I don't think Imperium are going to be sending capitals after these guys for a good while. But it is good space, and Horde lived here for 7, 8, 9 years, so it can't be that bad if they didn't want to move. And those guys made a lot of money over here. They had a lot of fun over here with, you know, especially with Equinox, the whole being able to customize your space. So you can have like a whole region just for, I don't know, you might want to have Outer Passage just for exploration. If a coalition forms here, you might want to have Outer Passage as an exploration region. You might want to have, I don't know, one of these with really bad, really low true sec systems. You might want to have them as mining. You know, it's a very good area. So I think people should probably look into moving here and just testing the waters with it and seeing how they get on. Imperium aren't going to, apart from keeping the infrastructure going and, you know, looking after the free ports and everything like that. Once we've glassed everything that belongs to Horde in that out here, we're going to be pulling back and just letting it be. It's like, as I said, it's going to be like a nature reserve. So it's just going to be a case of, you know, see what happens there and see what goes on there. But I don't know what's going to happen with Winterco. They've gained a lot of members. But speaking of which, I have got I've been doing these interviews. I have got Norris coming on for a chat. So I'm going to have an interview with him at some point this week, and hopefully I'll get that out next week. So I'm not going to be asking him questions about, you know, what do you think about what Hut Goblins did, or, you know, what you're going to do about this. It's going to be a spotlight onto Fraternity and what they're about and stuff like that. So I hope you will enjoy that one when I get that one done. And there's a Pochvan alliance that I'm going to be getting in touch with as well. Well, I have got in touch with. It's just matching up our time zones, and our work is a bit of a struggle at the minute. So we've got Strybolg. Is it Strybolg Clade? I believe it is Strybolg Clade in Pochvan. I'm going to be speaking to them and going on about why they like Pochvan so much. And it's not died off at all. It's kind of gone really quiet down in Delve Aquarius now. So if we bring up Dotlan here, there is no systems reinforced. There's no been, I haven't seen, I mean, unfortunately, like Zekiel has really hidden any big dread brawls that happened over the last week. I think all eyes over the last 6 days have been all on Horde this week in in Eve, which has probably stopped some of these big dread brawls that's been happening in low sec, and because everyone's been so focused on what Horde's going to be doing, and you know, it's so basically the whole this week has just been dominated by this massive change that's happened in nullsec. It affects so many people. Like they're down to 38,800 members now from, I think it was well, you can see this is a huge drop there, but they were about a month ago, they were up to 49,000 members, and they've lost 12,000 members. It's their member count is in free fall at the minute. But I strongly believe that they are going to end up to be a more leaner and guerrilla warfare kind of alliance. A little bit like in it, where they'll still be able to hold their own with their supers and titans, or what they have left of them if they don't get them all out of asset safety. They'll still be able to hold their own in their space, but I don't. I'll be honest. Initiative pilots, on the whole, are more efficient, and I think that I feel like they are better skilled than Horde pilots when it comes to individual piloting and small gang stuff. They are much better than Horde at it. But I think if Horde can learn a few things from Initiative, I think it's going to be a very, very interesting turn of events when they get to Cloud Ring, and what they end up to like evolving into over this period of time. And there is some some standing fleet comms that have from Horde when they found out about what had been going on, basically. So I'm just gonna flip that on, get rid of that, and just leave the screen on here so we can keep an eye on that. But I'm going to play you some clips of the Horde standing fleet comms. You can hear in the voice how pissed off they are. So which one's this? Is this one of the first ones? Let me have a look. So I think this is the first one.
Today we had a gold paint.
Yeah.
Gold pen ping, and basically lost. So we are now waiting for the armor timer. We are currently reinforced. Leadership has said that we will not be defending this keep. We are to move to our new staging, which has been linked in fleet.
Oh, come on, we are getting back to fucking E8 again?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Not E8.
No, we're being driven out.
So that was them being driven out. And there's a few clips. I'm not going to play them all.
They're going to turn on us.
So this is when they were on about moving next door to Initiative, and after the Initiative have helped them with getting moved and getting settled in.
But they're going to turn on us. I mean, some people say we're going to like crash on in its couch until we figure things out, but they're going to turn on us.
Yeah. I mean, the temporary helping them out is not going to last forever. It is not going to last forever. And once they do, then they've got another group on the doorstep.
We gotta get there
That's
first.
the big hurdle.
That's it.
If someone knows better, please let me know.
No. We will get it back. We just have
7 months. I don't know how much time we're gonna get it back.
Because the thing is, if
Don't
it's
about the
anything
supers.
sub-capital, we had this discussion.
Run about supers there. There was one that I'm trying to find.
Jumping out.
Oh, here we
If
are.
we see like an opening.
Yeah, so this is basically like a line member.
Jumping out.
You can hear how annoyed he is at leadership, for Gobbins, for doing this.
If we see like an opening. Oh, you're staying here? You're
By the way, that's not Gobbins.
just going down with the ship?
I'm just gonna let it all go into asset safety.
Yeah.
How much do you think it would cost to get a?
This is why I feel so bad for the line members. They didn't deserve this. Oh, not that one. The line members didn't deserve this at all.
Yeah, they are locking down the system so they can stick it in to Hull.
That is when we moved in, because from the announcement of Gobbins saying that we're pulling out of PanFam, within 90 minutes, their keep star was hell camped, and there was no getting out then.
So what has Gobbin said about all this? Like he's been, I mean, I saw that, yeah.
he
Aside
has
from what he did.
basically been silent since the announcement.
I
Because
saw
I
him in
think
the Horde canal in Discord. He spoke a bit.
Thing is, he knows full well that there's a massive backlash against him on this, because from a lot of people's perspectives, and a lot of people who've been making videos on this, it's just basically gone, the war's lost, I'm evacuating my assets, fuck everyone else.
And that is pretty much the general consensus, really. And I do get a lot of Horde members messaging me, and which, you know, I really appreciate you guys watching the videos. I know I'm Imperium, and, you know, goons are bad, all this, but, you know, I try and keep it as I don't buy into propaganda, and you can always, you know, message me with something, and I don't pass it on, and I don't, you know, read any names out. I don't name and shame anyone.
No, I'm just so sick of like people just pushing around the little man, you know? Whether it's real life or this, it's just really not cool. I'm going to try to keep my language clean.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like this, it's like the leadership we're seeing getting their stuff out 2 weeks before.
If they weren't aware of Goblin moves, they would feel quite betrayed right now.
They do. They spoke to us.
No one was aware, so yeah, NC's mad. We're mad, but we're not going to do anything to you guys. NC might do something to you guys, I don't know.
We should. Yeah, they're mad.
Yeah, so all the allies are mad at them, and, you know, as much as everyone likes to shit on goons or, you know, shit on Horde, for example, the line members didn't deserve the leadership to just do that. And the fact that the leadership got their stuff out first before announcing anything, because they knew what they knew what would happen. They knew goons would just goon rush their space. Soon as that announcement went out, they knew. That's why they were spotted by people like Deepwater Hooligans and stuff like that, all their Titans and everything in control towers in low sec. People were spotted the leadership. They were already out and gone, and that's a really, really big dick move. I mean, you've led an alliance for 7 or 8 years. I never, you know, call anyone out for being a shitter individually. But my 2 pence on this, from what I've seen and what I've been told by, bear in mind, many Horde members, not just 1 or 2 or 3. I've had a lot of them message me and give very, very similar accounts. And basically, Gobbins has done his 10 years in Horde, whatever it is. He couldn't beat goons, so he decided to keep moving back and making up bullshit reasons. He couldn't beat goons, so he decided to go out on a way he will always be remembered, but not in a good way. He is going to go out of Horde. He's stepping down as leader. He's not leaving Horde completely. He's stepping down from leadership to be a director. He's not going to lead it anymore, thank God. But he is going to be remembered as the worst leader of Horde. In the last couple of years, he's made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And in his final act, he screwed every member of Horde over and Horde's allies over big time, and then left them out to hang, and left them at the mercy of the Imperium, who had been waiting for big dread brawls. Like, you know, I think some members of Imperium said, "Come on, why don't you just undot your dreads? You're not going to get them out. Why don't we just have one big dread brawl throughout this whole throughout, and then, you know, you don't have to move your dreads. We all have a big dread fight, which is fun, you know." But I mean, to do that to your line members, that is an absolute dick move, and I really do feel bad for for Horde line members. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be some of them that are really, really horrible and get salty in chat and call me all sorts of names under the sun. And by the way, I have had 2 people so far this weekend. I know emotions are running high, and I know everyone's upset and angry about the situation, but thankfully, YouTube automatically holds certain comments, and some of the comments I am not putting them on the screen because they are horrendous. They are absolutely vile comments, and I'm not even going to repeat them, but these people like need to touch some grass. If you're getting that wound up about space pixels, you need to go chill. You need to exit the game, go touch some grass, do something apart from being on Eve, because it's not working out well for you. It's not good for your health. But I don't mind criticism. I don't mind a laugh and a joke, pointing and laughing if I fuck up, or if goons fuck up. I don't mind that. If we fuck up, I don't mind. But when people get like personal and, there's, I don't know. It does come with making videos. Obviously, it does come with doing news articles, news videos. People aren't going to like what you're reporting because it might touch a nerve or something like that. But there's a point which you go to, and so I've had to completely remove them from ever watching the videos because I don't mind people taking the piss out of me. I'm not the best Eve player. I enjoy the game. I lose shit. I'm with an alliance that's probably got quite a shady history over the last however 20 years. So I accept all of that. But there is a limit on what you should be saying on YouTube. So if you are getting very angry at something I'm saying, just close the video and go and touch some grass, my friends. And on that cheery note, we're going to just remind you that there is a giveaway on this video. Let's just have a quick look, see which skin it is. It's the Metamorphosis skin. And let me just search Metamorphosis. Yeah, so I've got some of these. Metamorphosis Media Miasma skin. They are pretty nice skins. They look a little funky. It's like your ship's been graffitied all over. Pretty cool. So I'm going to be giving I'll give 3 of these away on a video. So if you comment on the video, I will pick 3 comments at random, and after 3 days, so what day are we on now? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday night, I'll pick 3 comments at random. I'll ask you for your in-game name, and then I will contract you one of these. So thank you for watching, guys. Sorry about that rant at the end. I felt like I had to get it off my chest, and it just to explain to some people. But there's so much more happening every week every day with this. So no doubt there will be another video coming later in this week with more information that's come to light, with more that's come out. There is so much going on, and also with the glassing of Dronelands that's going to be happening, there's going to be a lot of structures dying, and I don't know if you guys want to see the structures being blown up. I think once you've seen every type of structure blown up, all of them are the same. But if you do want to see some of that, let me know, guys. But thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with the video. I know it's a bit of a chunky video, but I really appreciate you watching to the end, guys. And take care, and I will see you later in the week.